out. So in the last class, as a part of NCRT series, so we have discussed about understanding understanding marginalization. Okay. So as a part of series, we have discussed. So in the last two sessions, okay, let us revise before going to this continuing further chapter. So let's discuss what we have discussed in the last two sessions. First, we understood what is marginalization. Okay, so marginalization with nothing but marginalization. We have seen for social marginalization or a community marginalization or Adivasis marginalization, how they were marginalized. The major reason means so because of their unique culture, because of their unique traditions. Okay, so because of the language they spoke, so because of such things, so people viewing them in different perspectives. Okay, so because of that different perspective, the difference is created between them. Because of the difference, so they get lack of resources, so they didn't get proper resources and opportunities for their development, they lacked. Okay, so these community people were lacked. Gradually these people were getting more opportunities and holding power in their hands and financial support in their hands. So because of this, so gradually they were growing, and these marginalized people were gradually depriving. So in this way, so these people were not fitting in them. So because of that, they became separated from them. So this process is nothing but marginalization. Okay, this process is nothing but marginalization. So it happened for the communities. We have seen for Adivasis, then for social communities. Social communities. Next, we have discussed about Adivasis marginalization. Okay, so Adivasis marginalization. So Adivasis lead a rich lifestyle, but always people project them with their unique culture and traditions in a different way. Okay, in different way. So the place they will live, it consists of high minerals and resources. Okay, so for the sake of them, private. So Adivasis marginalization. So for the sake of minerals and ores, so private industries and forest policies, and by the state introducing such laws and policies, so all impacting on the tribal people and Adivasis people. Okay, so because of that, they forcibly took them out. So they not only left the forest. Okay, they not only left the forest because the force kept by the people, so they lost their livelihood, they lost their culture, they lost their uniqueness, they lost their themselves. So they just struggling to make fit into that society. They struggled very hard at towns and cities. While the process migrating, many were died for the basic amenities such as food, shelter, and proper drinking water. So in this way, Adivasis were marginalized from the rest of society. Okay. Then further we have discussed who are Adivasis. Okay, who are Adivasis? Who are Adivasis? So we said that they are the inhabitants. Inhabitants, which means they are the grown at forest. They live, they survived at forest. Their forefathers given for them. So their complete livelihood tied up with the forest. Okay, so they are the inhabitants, and they practice the different ritual practices. They are completely different from the Islam, further Hindu community, further Christianity. So their ritual practices are different. So they pray for their ancestors. Okay, they pray for their ancestors. For example, Satalal Jayanti. Okay, so they made remarkable achievements by the ancestors. So for them they will pray. Then next they will pray for the water. Okay, and forest and trees for the animals. So those who are providing support for them, so they will pray for them. Such things will be prominent. Okay, they are the inhabitants. They practice different ritual practices, and in our India, 8% of the population will be tribal or Adivasis. Okay, so within Adivasis community, there are n number of variety of communities. Okay, example Odisha. So Odisha consists of Adivasis. Within Adivasis, there were 60 varieties of communities. For example, Gond. Okay, in that way. So different communities within Adivasi. Example, Odisha. Okay, Odisha. 60 varieties of communities. So we all know that the ritual practices followed by the Adivasis were highly influenced other communities. Those who live in the kingdom, in that those who are weak communities, so they are highly influenced of Adivasis ritual practices. They converted into them. The best example will be cult of Jagannatha Radayatra. Okay, the cult of Jagannatha Radayatra influenced. Example, Jagannatha Radayatra. Okay, and they lead a rich lifestyle. Okay, they lead a rich lifestyle. They follow the nomad cultivation. That means, so they at one place they will crop seeds. Okay, they will sow seeds, and until getting the crop, certain period of time, they will protect, they will nurture. So after getting the yield, from this place to another place, they will shift and start producing the another different crop according to the season. Because to increase the fertility of soil, so they used the scientific technique. So this technique was practiced at their days. and they followed the shifting cultivation, paddy cultivation, and at their time they started animal rearing. Okay, they started animal rearing. So in this way, they lead a rich lifestyle. Human cultivation, shifting cultivation, and they also stayed at one place and served for cultivated for many years. Cultivation. Okay, so this is about Adivasis. Now let's see Adivasis and stereotypes. Adivasis and stereotypes. So at any official event, okay, at any official event, either it might be in the newspapers or in the social media or movies or any channels, so always project Adivasis with their different culture. Okay, how they speak differently, they project their language. So for the sake of dance performances according to their culture, so they wear headgear on the heads and different costumes. Okay, the costumes. So because of that, always people project in a different view with a different perspective. So because of that different perspective, they were separated, they were marginalized. So because of that, they lack the resources and opportunities. Okay, lack the resources and opportunities. And because of this different perspective, so they got a stereotype, that is, so they were primitive, exotic, and they were backward. Okay, so because of that different view, they got a stereotype, they treated with this stereotype, that is, they were exotic, they were primitive, and they were backward. So this is all about Adivasis stereotype. Then we have discussed about Adivasis development. Adivasis development. So we already discussed that they lead a rich lifestyle. So while where the places they were living, that lands are highly fertile, and it consists of minerals and ores such as they available gold is available, copper is available, next to diamonds. Okay, and they also get animal products such as wax and honey, and precious timber take will be available. So many kingdoms, nearby kingdoms, so they utilized them such resources. They didn't rule the forest or Adivasis, but they tried to exploit from them. Okay, all such things they were exploited, either mineral resources or animal products or timber, then animals too, for the sake of defense and army. Okay, so such many resources, contentful resources will be available for the Adivasis. They know the each and every ingredient in the forest. If unexpectedly any snake will bite, they solve within the seconds through the available materials in the forest. They use the roots, they use the leaves. So with their knowledge, they solve them. Okay. So they access each and everything from the forest. So they will use best in best possible way for their needs, for their survival, rather than for greed. So this is what happens. And they also followed, okay, they also followed nomad cultivation, animal rearing, and shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation. So they lead a rich lifestyle. But what happened is private industries, forest policies, and for the construction of dams, and for the sake of wildlife sanctuaries. So more than 50% people of tribals were forcefully migrated. Okay, forcefully migrated. So because of the migration process, they didn't get the proper food, proper shelter, and proper drinking water. So because of that, many people were died and many people were led a complicated life. They not only lost the forest, they not only lost their livelihood, they also lost their lives. Okay, their traditions, their culture, their varietiness. So all such things they were lost it. Okay, so because of that forceful excavation. So this is all about the Adivasis development. So up to now, so we have discussed in the last classes. Now let's discuss minorities and marginalization. Okay, minorities and marginalization. Minorities and marginalization. So we all have studied in the first chapter. That is, Constitution provide special rights to the minorities to protect their unique culture, their linguistic, and their religion. Okay, so Constitution will protect it. So it will providing support to the minorities. Here's the question: what's the essence? Okay, why Constitution wanted to protect? What's the need? Wanted to protect interests of minorities. What's the need? Let us think. But why? So what's the need? So minorities say itself says that so they are in the less population compared to the other population. Okay, others population is high compared to this population. So because of the size, they termed as minority, and because of this size, they termed as majority. Here's the problem is not about the size, but because of the minority, so they are depriving the basic amenities, okay, such as food, water, electricity, and shelter. So such basic things were depriving. So this is what happened. So because of minorities, they deprived basic amenities and they lock the opportunities and resources. Opportunities and resources. So those who are in the majorities, they took the upper hand. So they took the upper hand. They are holding the political power and financial power in their hands, and also state in their hands. So because of that, they are trying to dominate the minorities. They are trying to eradicate their unique culture and traditions. They are trying to forcefully implement their cultures on them. Okay? Forcefully, they are trying to implement their cultures on them. So this is what happened because of the minorities marginalization. So that's why constitution protect the rights and interests of the minorities. Okay? Protect. So this is the one reason. And second reason will be, so in the minds of minorities people, still the developing is going on. Still, so in their minds, they will always get the fear how majorities will exploit us, how they will act on our assets, how to protect our lives from the majority. So always in their minds it will scroll. So to avoid such things, to provide equal justice, equal rights. So constitution provided fundamental rights to protect the interests of the minorities, whether it might be the religion, whether it might be the linguistic language or their unique cultures and traditions. Okay. So through the fundamental right, that is freedom, right to freedom of religion. Okay. So second one will be the fear. So they all are protected through fundamental right, that is freedom of religion. And also in the fifth, in the last session we have discussed about judiciary. Okay. So in judiciary, it said that irrespective of religion, caste, gender, sex, and creed, so their fundamental rights are protected. If anyone violates the fundamental rights of the people, they were punished severely. So in this way, interests of the minorities are protected and equal justice taken place. So this is all about the minorities marginalization. Now let's study Muslims marginalization. Muslim community marginalization. So according to the 2011 census, 2011 census, 2011 census, so their population is 14.9% in our India. So in our India. So because of that, they termed as minorities in our country, India. Okay. So because of that minorities, they deprived. Okay. It's not about the size, but they are also impacted on the social growth and economical growth. They deprived the resources, proper getting or accessing resources and opportunities. They are lacking. Okay. Let's see. So according to the reports, so their basic amenities were lacking. That is water facility. Next, then literacy rate will be very low. Literacy rate will be very low. Their education also very low, education qualification will be also very low, and they lost, and they didn't getting proper opportunities for getting job. They lacked at public jobs, they lacked at central jobs. So they are in very less number. They are holding at highest positions, either in the politicians or in business, or else in the IAS or executive posts. So in all such things, they were depriving because of minority, because of marginalization. Okay, all such things are happened. Again, census what said is, so Muslim community and other scheduled tribes and scheduled castes, okay, they are nearer. So those who are in 7 to 16 years of children, so for them getting education is becoming difficult in Muslim community and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people. So it was said by the report. So in this way, marginalization taken place in many ways at basic amenities, at jobs, central jobs, at highest positions. They all are lacking. Their social and economic are interconnected. So because of this marginalization, because of this minority, all depended on this. Okay. So they are marginalized because of the minorities. Okay. They marginalized because of minorities, and another reason will be, so they were burqas. Okay, they were burqa. Next they were fazal. Okay, and they use it grow beard. Okay, beard. They use it to grow beard. So because of that appearance, people started viewing them in different perspective. Okay, different perspective. So because of that, people started making them different. So it's just an excuse. Okay, this is just an excuse of people to viewing them in different way and lacking the opportunities and resources. It's just an excuse, but it also comes under one reason, because of first, because of burqa and birth. So they started viewing in different perspective. So before, because of that different perspective, they separated them and made them to lack opportunities and resources. So it's an exception, it's an excuse. So because of the marginalization, they lost the resources and opportunities. They are deprived. So this is all about the Muslims community marginalization. So this is all about the understanding marginalization. Let us see the conclusion. So from the first to last, we have discussed about the marginalization. Whether it be in the women's marginalization compared to men, or Dalits marginalization compared to Hindus community, or marginalization of Adivasis. Okay, marginalization of Adivasis and minorities marginalization. In all that incidents, because of the marginalization, they impacted highly in different ways. So different marginalization faced different situations and critical conditions. Okay, different critical conditions. It lead to a social detriment and socially, and it will impacted on the economic conditions, at job opportunities. So at many ways they were deprived. So at the end, marginalization is a complex phenomenon. Okay, marginalization is a complex phenomenon. It should wanted to be tackled strategically, and it was done by the constitution. We need to follow thoroughly. Okay, we need to follow thoroughly and protect the interests of the minorities to preserve the unity and equality in our country. Okay, in the next chapter, we are going to discuss about the confronted marginalization. So, this is all about today's class. Thank you, friends.